So I thought I should comment a little bit on the Joker film that's coming out. I'm sorry I haven't made a video in a while, but I have a real job. Um, the only qualifications I think I have to review the film are I'm a tall, slender guy with a facial scar. I have a traumatic brain injury. I have long, dark hair. And I've taken care of my mother when she was ill. She's not now, but I have. And weirdly enough, I feel like this movie is trying to profile me in some way. Not me, but people that share those traits or those things in their life. And I think that's despicable. I genuinely do. And I have not seen the film, I admit. I have only read the reviews, so I don't want to review the film. I'm just actually, I guess, giving my thoughts on it and on the hype and on things the filmmakers have said and things that Joaquin Phoenix has said about the character and about his motivations for the character and his method in producing the character. And they're extremely aggravating to me as someone with a traumatic brain injury and someone who shares some of the life circumstance of the character that they created. And I find the movie very insensitive and just in that really cynical, shitty New York way that it's trying to ironically capture or comment on. And it's just Todd Phillips reminds me of a snitch from Miami Vice, to steal a joke from Sacha Baron Cohen. He's just a shitty person. He reminds me of a character from one of his own Hangover films or something. Isn't he in Road Trip, like massaging feet like Tarantino? Something like that. He's in one of his own movies. And I don't know. I don't know what, based on old school and The Hangover, qualified him to direct a remake of Taxi Driver. But I mean, I think it's really irresponsible of Scorsese and De Niro to kind of create this propaganda. And it's like, you might say propaganda for what or toward what agenda. It's like apparently profiling the mentally ill. And that's just despicable. And what defense does he have for that? Oh, they might come for me. you know, they sent me a dildo with a MAGA hat and a clock strapped to it. Come on. They're coming for Mean Streets himself. And like, I don't think anyone should hurt celebrities or rich people, anything like that. I mean, hurt their feelings. Eh. Like, I will say, I think De Niro's overrated. I never understood his like hype. I never understood why people don't seem to get that he has no range and that he's not versatile at all. He just always plays himself, kind of like Eminem in 8 Mile. And it's just like he did that so many times in the 70s and was shot so well doing it by people like Scorsese. You feel bad not giving in to him and his hype. And it's so weird that he has to tip his hat to King of Comedy in this. And that he almost has to like put that movie in here. And it's not like he will not shamelessly drag up Jake LaMotta like he did in Grudge Match with Stallone playing Rocky, I know. Rated PG-13. Like they needed the money, rated old. And I'm not a fan of late period De Niro at all. And I found Meet the Parents awful. Again, it gives me those like horrible vibes where it was like a Hitchcock film to me. I didn't laugh, and I found his character so infuriating that how could you laugh? How could you find anything about it funny? And at the end, there's no release. It almost excuses him and his character. Um, and this, I feel, is like they were just trying to combine Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, and almost by way of, vilifying anybody that might share a background like the character in the film. And what is that? What does he want? You know, that the mentally ill should be treated like potential jokers. That's horrible and immature and typical of him and his ilk and the people that made the film, and how detached they are and how much they truly hate the rest of us. And I don't know why De Niro thinks he's better than Trump.
A lot of racism of you. Okay, well, you know, this is cable.
Sorry.
I mean, he's exactly that same kind of trashy New York shitty guy. You know, he's exactly that kind of like, oh, what are you doing here? Who do you think you are? You know, and it's, could you stand a 5-minute conversation with that piece of shit? Like, he just did this interview on how Trump is insufferable.
A lot of racism of you. Okay, well, you know, this is cable.
Sorry.
And there's just like these two old farts that don't realize that no one gives a shit, right? Does anyone really give a shit about the Irishman? You know, anyone that isn't like already into that whole kind of cinephile thing? You know, and just yanking Hollywood's crank. Like, oh my God, oh, they're getting together again. The fuckers from Casino and the Heat and whatever. Who cares? Jesus Christ. Sorry, I mean, I don't really care that much. But just the whole, like, trot these fuckers out again. You know, fucking Pat Pacino was in Jack and Jill. Let me remind everybody of how badly everyone in The Irishman needs that for their dignity before they go. You know what I mean? And that's not in any way that they won't die of anything but old age. But God, they seem to think that, like, all these jokers are coming for them.